Don't blink, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to our show. Presenting Wobbs are having a wonderful day on this. You know what? This is better. Yeah, this is better. I haven't filmed on the balcony in a while, so yeah. We have a wonderful sunrise behind us. I am so excited today because we're talking about Devil May Cry. So I'm gonna do a couple of videos. We're not gonna have a whole series about it, but we're gonna be doing at least three videos, which is why Devil May Cry, which is this video as an intro. It is usually a part one. Yeah, so the reason I have to do that because I want you guys to coming in clean, coming in honest. A lot of people will watch this show because it's brand new, came out yesterday, and they'll pretend like, oh, I'm a huge fan of Devil May Cry. I'm actually a fan, and I'm not saying this as yo, I'm better than you, but it's just it's just to show that I'm not doing this for clout. I'm not doing this for. I saw some reviews already, and people have been quite critical of it. I actually did like it, but I don't want it to seem like I'm kissing ass just because I love the series or just because it is something that's trending right now. So here's the why. Gonna talk about my general feel of the series. Then we'll work on a little recap. We're gonna make something fun. So without further ado, here's the why Devil May Cry. So I made a couple of videos on the gaming channel for Devil May Cry. This is also one of the main reasons as to why I was so excited to do this. Is because as hard as it is to believe, I have two channels, and you would think that having two channels is easy to cross over, is the same guy behind the camera, behind the gaming, but it's actually quite hard. So a show like Devil May Cry, one of the only show that I've liked that I can watch, and I'm like, yo, this is also a game. There's a lot of shows, like for example Arcane. There's a lot of shows like, for example, Halo. There's a lot of shows. There's plenty of example. If you have some suggestion, please let me know in the comments. That way I can watch those shows because at heart I'm a gamer. I was a gamer my whole life. Lately a little bit less because we're exploring life a little bit more. So we're going out. We're just exploring life a little bit more, right? And that takes away from the gaming, but you know, it's a love and hate relationship of fuck, I miss you, but fuck, I have gamer burnout. So Devil May Cry to me was a really weird relationship, a really weird. So I used to go to a daycare, and that daycare was run by a lovely woman who had two sons. Now her two sons were older than me, but were literal heroes. Because I like to believe that I was a gamer, but they were a gamer. They were truly gamer. Especially the oldest. Look at Alexandre. Look at Alexandre and Dominic. They were super gamer. I remember as a kid. This is embarrassing to say, but we're talking about the 90s, early 2000s. I was afraid of the first boss of like Legend of Zelda. So like, okay, well, I don't want to beat it. Can you please beat it for me? And I was like, okay, sure. And they would do it in an afternoon. They were a gamer. They were. It was fun. It was fun to talk to them because they knew their shit. And we're talking about way more gamer than I was. We're talking about they had a PlayStation. They had the Xbox. They were playing Oblivion. They were playing D&D. Some nerd type shit. But hey, I guess I'm a nerd too. And then what ended up happening was they had such a, especially the older, because the younger, yes, but the younger was kind of on his way out for gaming. So they had this weird relationship where they were close in age and they were doing everything together. But then the younger, which is Dominic, kind of have new friends and prefer playing music. He was in a band. So the old one's like, no, I'm still a gamer. And it was really weird because we were playing games like Kingdom Hearts. To me, that was fantastic. He was playing game like Final Fantasy X, which was fantastic. And then like I came to his house, he was playing Devil May Cry. Sometimes the one, sometimes the third one. And I look at the graphic and I look at the general feeling of the game, and I didn't get why he liked it that much. I didn't get it why I didn't like it that much. Back in the days, he was 20, I was possibly 11, 12, right? And I was like, it's not my type of shit. And I think something truly magical happened there, where he was like, well, my younger brother um, doesn't like gaming a lot. There's this guy I'm close with that likes gaming. I'm going to introduce him a lot of game. So he introduced me to games like Legacy of Kain, which again was great story, but aged poorly, sadly. Yeah, it did age poorly. But that being said, Devil May Cry was one of them, and I remember him showing me the game and me not being convinced, and like, yo, I'm gonna convince you, and him putting the opening scene for Devil May Cry 3, but not really a fan of it. I was then years passed. We're talking about 4 or 5 years. I'm in last year of high school. I had the PS4, but my father's like, "Yo, I bought you the console. You're gonna buy your own game." Um, so there was not a lot of store in Lachine. There's still not a lot of store in Lachine. If there's one, I would be very surprised that sells game. But there was a store called The Source. This was which was the electronic store, and that the Source store was selling games, and they didn't have a lot of choice. I think there was like 10, 20 games at a time, and I was always looking. And one time I saw the Devil May Cry 4, and I was like, oh, I didn't really like Devil May Cry, but I'm really craving. I'm really in need. I'm desperate for games. Um, so I go in and I buy the Devil May Cry 4, and I put it in, and I don't know why, but I completely fell in love with the game. I completely fell in love with the game. To me, and you're gonna understand why after. Just gonna put that on the charge because as you can see, it's not charging. It needs to be charged. The reason why I loved Devil May Cry 4 so much is it's so weird. Yes, it is a great game. I love Nero. I think the game in itself, the narrative is great. But there was always something about this game that really brought me back. And I didn't know what it was. So I kept on playing it. And again, I'm telling you, we didn't have a lot of games. So the narrative was great. The story, I fucking loved Kairi. Fucking loved the Sanctuary. The fact that Dante was supposed to be the villain, but it wasn't a villain. And to me, it was so freaking nice because as the first game, the 4, because I knew of Dante, but I didn't know a lot of him. I didn't know a lot about him. So him being presented as a villain, okay, well, it kind of makes sense, right? So I'm playing this game, and I finished this game. I'm like, you know what? I'm really enjoying this. It's kind of hard. So then I realized that my first game, I was rushing. I was having a hard time. So we did another playthrough because again, I didn't have a lot of games, and I wanted to get a better score. And then we tried a hard difficulty. Safe to say, we finished the game 4 or 5 times in a row. Now, the best thing about my PS4 era, the beginning of that PS4 era, was at my father's house. I didn't have a lot of games, so the only thing that I had to do with those games was trying to get the trophies. The only Cry trophy were hard to get, but it was also a game where I truly understood the charm of it, but I didn't understand the charm to the utmost point. I was still young. I was 17, 18. We're talking about 2010, 2011. So I played the game, right? And then I'm at my father's. I leave my father's house. We go to the apartment. I'm playing PlayStation. I'm looking for games to buy, and I remember how much I loved Devil May Cry 4. My PS3. I'm so sorry. I talk about my PS4. My PS3 era, 2011. No, 2020. I'm so sorry. I'm a bit tired, to be honest. We had a rough day. Well, a good day, but a rough day in a sense that we was very busy. So I go in, and I'm looking for a game to buy. Then I see the Devil May Cry trilogy. I'm like, oh, I fucking loved the the fourth one. I'm gonna buy the trilogy. So what ended up happening is I'm buying games and games and games and games and games, and the trilogy stays unopened. I don't open it because then I don't really care. But it's a case of I know I have it, so it's good. It's not gonna run away. So then we start work. Now work, I'm working in a place where there's a lot of people that don't speak my language, and they speak together with the same language. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not being put aside, but I'm not being super included, right? So if I want to ask, hey, can you translate for me? They'll translate, but not in the sense of I'll be included, right? So I started listening to songs. I started listening to podcasts, and then we started listening to movies. Now with the movies, what was really 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 cool was I remember when I came into the apartment, I didn't have any Wi-Fi, I didn't have any cable. So what I would do is I would go on YouTube, download movie from YouTube, and I would download like full movie cutscenes. So the whole game, the whole cutscene of the game. And one of those that I really enjoyed was the DMC reboot. I really really enjoyed that. So I'm playing the game, and fun fact is, a very fun fact is I began streaming, and streaming for me was cool, but streaming for me was also so interesting because I wasn't gaming that much. I was gaming 4 or 5 hours per day, and then I was back to gaming a great actually 5 or 6 hours a day, and I was working. So then I was looking for games, and then as this is the very beginning of my channel, the very beginning of my content creation dream. So I think about it, and I'm looking at game that I have, and I'm looking for a game that do not take a long time to beat. That way, I have complete playthrough already, and I have 6, 7, 8, 9. The first month I had 11 complete playthrough. 3 of them were Devil May Cry. So then you start a game, and I was like, okay, well, the first one is like an hour and a half. The second one is like 3 hours. The fourth one, the third one, sorry. The third one is a bit longer. We're talking about 6, 7 hours, but still very doable. Now, I start playing them, and at that time I'm 28, 29, and that's when I realized how good these games are. Now, the reality of DMC and why they're so good is because there's such a universe building, right? But it's more than that. It's because we played games like Resident Evil, which is 3 or 4 hours, and it's a great time. And like, okay, well, I had a really good time. I'm gonna put this game aside, and I'm gonna be playing it again. Versus a game like, for example, I don't know, a RPG, which we're more used to, that take 40, 50 hours to finish, which is great. But there's time where you want to start a game and finish a game in the same day, right? So I played DMC, the first one. I'm like, okay, well, the story is really good. And the weird thing that happened in the DMC 1 is I'm very reminiscent of the DMC 4. There's a very similar feeling to it. And I fucking love the first one. I played the second one, and it was a piece of dog shit. I really didn't like it. I really didn't like the game. But there was always, in those 2 games, there was always a saving matter. And that was Dante. The fact that he was cocky. See, I grew up in the 90s, so for me, Spider-Man was huge. And Spider-Man, the reason why I liked Spider-Man a lot was because he was cocky. Dante was also cocky. Dante was like, you stink, or try again. And he wasn't very heroic. And I was like, holy shit, this is so fucking cool, right? So then, where was I going with that? I need a little bit of a coffee. Oh, feels good. So then what happened is, I played the second one, and I played the first one. And the first one I love. The second one I hit it so badly, I'm like, fuck this game. And then I played the third one. The third one, remember what I said about my friends showing me the opening scene with the pizza, which we're gonna talk about when we're gonna be doing the review. And I really fall in love with DMC3. It is a great game. I'm reminiscent of the first game. It happened so well, and it was just a good time. I'm playing the fifth one, and I didn't like it. I like the story of the fifth one. I like the mechanics of the fifth one. I don't like the character of V. I'm sorry, and I don't like the fact that you have microtransaction. I have to check because if the phone gets too hot, I will not be able to film. So I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that it was microtransaction. That really didn't piss me off. Oh, it's bad. I fucking hate it. But it did bother me. It did bother me a little bit to a lot. So then I played the DMC reboot. A lot of people didn't like Dante. I fucking love Dante in it. And to me, narratively speaking, I think Devil May Cry 1 reboot is the best one. Why is the best one? Because we get the backstory, we get the Nephilim, we get the fact that Dante's father is part of that, which we knew, but we didn't know that much. We didn't know that his mom was an angel, right? And that's why it's a Nephilim. And I really enjoyed the first one because, again, it was the becoming of being a villain of Virgil, and the reboot. What he says, Virgil isn't bad. He's like, yo, Mondus is gone. The world needs new leader. Let's be their leader. And Virgil, yes, the worst thing he does is he's willing to sacrifice Kate just so he and Virgil and he and Dante can survive. And I do like Kate, but at the same time, those Nephilim are super important, and there's only two in the world. So if one dies, like, okay, well, how do I beat Mundus, right? So that was something people didn't like. I didn't really mind. I like Kate, but I'm like, okay, well, the greater good type shit. And that's why I like the reboot. So all in all, the reason why we're reviewing Devil May Cry today, is because I actually love the series. I actually like the universe of it, right? The fact that, and the craziest thing about Devil May Cry is the most important character isn't in the story. It's not Dante. It's Sparda, and the fact that there was a war with the demons, and the demon exists, and they're somewhere in the world. There's people hunting them, and you're one of them, and it's a really cool game. The fact that we have amazing side character like Lady. I love Lady, and I love Lady from the third game, just because she was so cool. She didn't take shit, and she's the only one that didn't. See, Dante has this almost womanizer feeling to him, right? The first game, he likes the I don't know, I don't remember the bitch name. I don't like her. In the second game, there's the other hunter with the red hair. The third game, it's Lady, which I fucking love. The fourth game is about Nero, but it's still Kyrie. And then the fifth game, there's not only really a love interest, but still. I was super excited. The reality is, I was looking for a new. Okay, so the reality is, I just finished watching Shameless, and I just finished watching One Piece. I was looking for another series to watch. The problem that I had was I watched One Piece in did not the whole thing, but I watched from Arlong Pirates to the Skypiea and one go. And I watched Shameless from season 1 to season 11 very fast because I thought it was going to be finished. I thought it was going to be taken out of Netflix. So a show like Devil May Cry coming in 3-4 weeks after that, it was the perfect timing for me because I was craving a new show. And I just started to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is also a great show. But I'm like, okay, well, I'm not too deep in. I can watch something else. Also, Devil May Cry came at a perfect time. We're not really working right now. We're working with an agency, but the agency doesn't call us a lot. And the agency, what you have to do is you have to be very, very aggressive with it. You have to be like, yo, find me a job. And then there's other people that have family, and you're like, ugh, well, I'm taking food away from their table. It's different than when you're having your own job. It's like, no, I need you. If you're not here, fuck other family that are hungry. If I need you and you don't show up, the whole team is backed up. Versus a agency, well, if you don't go, the next guy's gonna go, you know? So I feel bad being super aggressive. So I was going to a job fair, and the job fair was yesterday, and the show came out yesterday. Today is the 4th April 2025. Today is the 4th April. Yesterday was the third one, and Devil May Cry came out. I watched the entirety of the show in one go, and that is pretty much it. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do part two. Part two is gonna be us reviewing it, or you know what? Part two is gonna be us doing a short on my thoughts of DMC because we did a long video right now. Let's do a short. Anyway, love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry about the long rant, but you know, DMC is a huge series. There's 6 games. Dante in himself, Dante has been a character in a lot of games. For example, Shin Megami. There's a lot of game with Dante, and to me, Dante is. I know a lot of people won't agree, but it's a gaming icon. You know, it's a character that people care about. The people that it's a character that people know, and they love or hate, whatever you want to call it. But there's a relationship there. You know. Anyway, love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.